It's a great pleasure to be with you today, though Senate business has prevented me from joining you in person. As international businessmen and women, many of you have worked in foreign countries. I now work in a foreign land myself. It's called Washington, D.C. Many people have asked me if I'm enjoying the United States Senate, and I tell them, oh yes, it's been a laugh a minute. In the 6 months I've served, we faced a war, a recession, an Arctic freeze, a drought, military base closings, and an earthquake. Now, I've always been one who loves the challenge of crisis and who looks for opportunity when surrounded by problems, and one who prays for strength to make the right decisions. But now I'm praying, Lord, my cup runneth over. It's okay to stop the blessings of challenge for a while. Well, I'd like to talk to you today about a critical challenge that faces our Golden State. How to re-energize California's economic engine in the face of astounding growth and tough global competition. Our state is at a crossroads. There's no question about that. Over the past decade, California's population grew by 25%, giving us an average annual growth rate greater than that of many developing countries such as Mexico. At the same time, overcrowding, overregulation, and an overburdened infrastructure and high business and housing costs have prompted many companies to relocate outside of California. A recent survey by the California Business Roundtable found that 41% of our major companies have plans to expand outside of California. 14% of them have plans to move out altogether. Some of our competitor states smell weakness in the air, and they're coming here to exploit it. It's been reported that at any given time, no less than a dozen top-level business recruiters from other states are crisscrossing California, trying to lure away our companies and jobs, and oftentimes they're successful. Today, California's unemployment rate exceeds 8%, significantly higher than the national average. I'm told there's even a billboard on the Santa Ana Freeway that says, having trouble doing business in California? Call the Oklahoma Business Hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, an alarm has been sounded, and we must heed it. With population growth running off the charts, and with our capacity for traditional domestic economic growth limited, California must embrace a new prescription for prosperity in the 90s. And the key is in international trade. Despite all of the hardships that have recently confronted us, California's export picture has grown increasingly bright. Between 1987 and 1990, state exports grew by an average of 20% per year. We've enjoyed double-digit export growth in a diversity of products, ranging from electrical equipment to food and other agricultural crops. These job-producing exports extend not only across the Pacific to the burgeoning economies of Asia, but in all directions, all over the globe. In fact, the European community, when considered as a unified market, is the #1 destination for our products, while our top 3 single-country markets are Japan, Canada, and Mexico. All told, two-way trade through our customs districts now exceeds $165 billion, accounting for approximately 1 out of every 10 California paychecks. Foreign investors are also continuing to cast a vote of confidence in California and are helping to replace the capital that is fleeing to other states. Foreign investment in California now exceeds $50 billion and accounts for more than 390,000 jobs, a 20% employment increase in just a single year. No state is more strategically located geographically, economically, or demographically to lead America and our own companies back into the winner's circle of global commerce. As residents of the Long Beach area, you understand this reality and this opportunity because Long Beach is the nerve center of California's global business network. With your world-class port of Long Beach, the World Trade Association, and forward-looking organizations like the International Business Association, I'm counting on you to join me in leading our entire state back to prosperity by raising our profile ever higher in the global marketplace. But if we are to fully realize this potential, we must achieve some giant strides at home and abroad. There's now a great deal of excitement over the prospect of a unified European market made up of some 320 million consumers, and this enthusiasm is well placed. Yet we are now pursuing a course that would lead to a unified North American free trade area encompassing 360 million consumers. I'm convinced that Mexico's President Carlos Salinas means business. He is committed to economic reform and to lowering barriers to trade and investment. In fact, since Mexico liberalized trade in 1986 by joining GATT, U.S. exports to the country have more than doubled. I'm convinced that if a fair deal is negotiated, a free trade agreement with Mexico encompassing Canada will lead to more trade, more business, and activity and more jobs for the people of California. That's why I voted to support President Bush's request for fast-track negotiating authority. And while I will examine the outcome of the negotiations and how they affect the interest of our state, I look forward to casting my vote for an historic free trade agreement, creating the single largest and healthiest consumer market in the entire world, right here at home and right here in our own backyard. Expanding our role in international trade not only tests our skills as business competitors, it often challenges our conscience as well. Today we face such a challenge, as the Senate will soon take up debate on whether to continue to extend most favored nation trading status to the People's Republic of China. There's no question that every one of us have been deeply disturbed and troubled by the actions taken by the Chinese Communist leadership in recent years. The Tiananmen Square uprising of 1989 led to persecutions, imprisonments, and brutal murders. Our horror at this tragedy led us to highlight many other sins of the Beijing government and to punish them for their actions. Over the years, China has both been granted MFN status and it's been denied it. And the one conclusion we can draw is that when it comes to influencing the policies of the communist regime, MFN has had very little impact either way. But the people of China are a different story. MFN has played a significant role in opening the minds of many Chinese people to the outside world and to the exciting possibilities of enterprise. It has encouraged thousands of entrepreneurs in special economic zones that dot the Cantonese coast to discover new export markets and learn that prosperity is not an exclusive gift from the government. It has also helped open the doors of our cities and universities to thousands of students, tourists, and businessmen who have come to learn how and why American society works. These people and these forces represent the future of democracy and free enterprise in China, and continued MFN treatment serves to strengthen them and weaken their rulers. There can be little doubt that MFN has been a benefit for American traders as well. U.S. exports to China totaled some $5 billion last year, sustaining more than 100,000 jobs in our country. California sells $550 million of goods in China annually, with our aircraft and machine tools leading the way. Let's also not forget our friends and allies in the courageous colony of Hong Kong. They have more reason than anyone to fear the intentions of a strengthened Beijing regime. In the aftermath of Tiananmen Square, the residents of Hong Kong were on the front lines of the protest, risking their own security to share in the world's outrage and condemnation of the massacre. With China and the United States, Beijing, Hong Kong's top two trading partners, that free port could be devastated by any significant restriction on the flow of goods and services between our countries. Not only would America's China market be threatened by suspension of MFN, but so would our market and investments in Hong Kong. One of the most compelling cases for MFN came to me last month when President Bush and I met with a group of Chinese students at an Asian American gathering in Fountain Valley. They presented petitions from their fellow Chinese students, and they spoke to us from the heart. They told us, "We are the future leaders of China. We want to return to our country to create the economic reforms and democratic principles that we all seek. Please do not take any actions that will further entrench the communist regime and stifle our chances to achieve these goals." The denial of MFN would hurt the wrong people at the wrong time in the tumultuous history of China. Therefore, I will oppose any resolution to cripple or deny most favored nation status to China when it comes before the United States Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, history has proved again and again that nothing is gained by closing off the lanes of commerce between people and nations. Yet California will gain nothing from these free and open trading policies if California business stays at home. During my years in the state Senate, I strongly supported Governor Deukmejian's efforts to raise California's international profile through the creation of 5 international trade offices, as well as a state export development office located right here in Long Beach. Now that I'm the United States Senator from California, I am determined to bring an end to any suggestion of federal retrenchment when it comes to backing up our exporters. I strongly support the Market Promotion Program for Agriculture, which used to be known as the T Program, and I believe we should be boosting our foreign commercial service activities at home and abroad, not cutting them back. There's something else we can do to help ourselves. Few Californians think of better education as a sound and compelling international trade policy, but it surely is. If California wants to hold on to any hope of meeting and beating our international competitors in the global arena, then not only do we have to turn a better product out of our factories, we must produce a better product out of our schools. Those of you who run businesses know this firsthand, and I learned when I ran a business as you interview high school graduates who can barely read or write, or college graduates who haven't been taught to think and analyze, dissect problems, or devise innovative solutions. President Bush has put forward proposals to involve the business community in the development of future school curricula and to provide more parental choice and greater family involvement in our schools. I think these steps are long overdue, and if they're backed by a nationwide resolve, we can begin producing better trained, more competitive workers before the end of this decade. My fellow citizens, I, for one, do not believe for one moment that California's best days are behind her. We are not a has-been society in the decade of the 90s. We have a golden chance to breathe new life and vigor into the California dream by doing again what California does best, raising our banner high in the international arena. California doesn't need to fear the competition. We are the competition. That's why the entire world has been beating a path to our door, including our competitors. If we succeed in seizing, rather than squandering, the great global opportunity which beckons us today, then this golden state will continue to shine with hope, opportunity, and breathtaking achievement for generations to come. Thank you very much.